I've been training for 7 years and put on over 60 pounds of muscle naturally and made my testosterone over 1,500 nanograms a deciliter naturally. In this video, I'm going to share the brutal fitness truths and lessons when it comes to your mindset. It's what I call the test maxer mindset, so that you don't have to go through all the same pain that I went through. Let's get into my computer. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the test maxer mindset, which is just 7 years of condensed lessons on the mindset you need to have in order to become a high testosterone man. This is how I have over 1,500 nanograms per deciliter of testosterone naturally. Now, what we really care about here is the transformation that I went through between 18 and 25. When I was 18, I had delayed puberty, hadn't masculinized at all. I was a risless loser, super weak, had ED, and overall, if I was an anime character, I would be E rank. Versus now, no ED, way more. I don't even know that that's the same person. This looks like the nerd you'd shove in a locker, and this looks like the guy that gets off a ship to take over the entire village, right? I've not as insecure, have the confidence that I desired, and I'm pretty dang strong. Overall, about an SS rank anime character. And it all starts here with your vision. Your vision is the thing that guides you through life. Where there's no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Proverbs 29:18. Now, if you don't like anime, you can just click off the video. But we are going to be drawing inspiration from the story of Naruto Uzumaki. It is a great story because it is about a boy who was an orphan, had no friends, had no apparent potential, had no skills, and was kind of on the dumber side. But he had a dream to become the Hokage. His vision was being the strongest ninja in the village. And every day he talked about his vision. He talked about it to everyone. He said he would become the Hokage. And he trained day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year to get strong enough to become the Hokage. And after years of consistent, dedicated training, he became the Hokage. And everybody went from doubting him and hating him to loving him and believing in him. But he had to believe in himself first, because and this is why we're getting into vision. You need a vision for yourself. This will guide your daily actions in an orderly, conscious fashion because you have intention behind your actions. Your vision needs to be something that you feel is worth doing for its own sake, that people couldn't pay you not to do. It has to excite you. You have to, when you think about it, it has to consume all your attention. And like anybody trying to get you to do anything that goes against it is just like not even an option. You ever had anything like this in your life? If you've never had anything like this in your life, you really aren't free at all. You're really just someone who can be kind of like bought and sold and controlled. You're kind of just like a bag in the wind of opportunity and circumstance, which isn't high testosterone at all. The high testosterone man pursues his vision, dreams, purpose, pursues his goals with no need for financial, social, or otherworldly incentive. And if you're wondering why I'm talking like this, I gotta my throat is a little cramped from all this speaking. This is the third time I've done this today. So the high testosterone mindset won't let me go to bed until I get this done. You have to understand the power of the high testosterone mindset. You don't quit when you're faced with a setback. If you pursue what you want, you will accomplish it. But if you do it for the incentives attached instead of doing it for its own sake, you will end up falling off. There's a saying that the wolf climbing the mountain is hungrier. That's why you see fighters, athletes, musicians, and even entrepreneurs reach some level of success, but then fall off or stop progressing. When they have nothing, they have no other option or anything else penetrating their focus because their survival depends upon them making it so they can make money. But once they make it, they relax because they have more guaranteed money coming in. And they're distracted by the status and the fame and the money that comes with their accomplishment. So they become comfortable and complacent because their vision had nothing to do with them becoming what they wanted to be for its own sake and everything to do with the money and things that came with it. Remember when Rocky lost his fight because he wasn't focused on training and he was distracted by the fame and everybody trying to get his attention? And so he lost touch with what got him there and lost the fight? That's exactly what I'm talking about. When whatever your vision is, you can't let anything distract you from it. It has to excite you, and you have to do it for its own sake. It can't be tied to the incentives that come with it. Otherwise, you are going to lose in the long run. Your vision is your frame. It is what you hold in the back of your mind to guide your daily actions. It's not about having long-term or short-term focus. It's about having both. What that means, and I'll give you an example from when I was swimming, is I wanted to be the best swimmer that I could be. And I wasn't going to let anything stop me from doing that. And so in the short term, I would make decisions between how I ate, how I slept, and I wouldn't go out to parties, right? I didn't stay out late because those things would interfere with my long-term vision of becoming the best swimmer I could be. And I made those decisions in the short term for the long term. The long term is the short term. It's all one. It's all you deciding to take part in your vision of the person you want to be, of the life you want to have. So create a vision board. Write out your purpose, your goals, your mission. Write out the person that you want to be. Write out the reason you're doing it. Write out your ideal self, your life, your career, your body, everything. Write out how becoming a high testosterone man it impacts all of that. Write out the way that you want to feel, the way that you talk, the way that you look, the way that you dress, the house you live in. Go into as much detail as you possibly can. Be extremely visual, vivid, and sensory, like you're trying to immerse yourself in the experience that you're trying to create. And review this every single day. You should have a phrase that captures as much of it as you can in one image, but don't be afraid to write out a page or two and read that every single day in the morning and at night. Now, along with your vision, you need incredible self-belief. What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Napoleon Hill. I don't know if you know who this is, but this is Muhammad Ali standing victorious in a fight. Very well known for his affirmations and his belief in himself. And that is the number one thing that will determine your success or your failure in becoming a high testosterone man. It's your choice to believe in yourself. And I say a choice to believe in yourself because it is a choice. Everything you do in life is a choice. And believing in yourself is just another decision you can choose to make. You have to believe that you are destined for greatness. You have to believe that you are meant to be a high testosterone man, to become strong, to become accomplished. This inner self belief is what guides every person to accomplish great things, believing that they're destined for it. Having no self belief is the same as believing that you can't. And if we were to go back in time to when you were 10 years old and you had the option to ask little you if you wanted to believe in yourself or you didn't want to believe in yourself, what would you choose? And every kid would say they want to believe in themselves, right? But somewhere along the way, something happened or someone said something to you that made you feel like you couldn't or you shouldn't believe in yourself. And I'm telling you to take back your power and make the decision to believe in yourself, because that's a choice. Remember that having no self-belief is the same as believing you can't. So make the decision to believe that you can. And once you have that belief, you can fuel a positive feedback loop. You have the belief in yourself, you realize your potential, you take action on that potential. And because you're taking action on that potential, you see results. And those results are going to fuel more belief in yourself. And you're going to take action on more potential. You're going to get more results. You want to fuel this positive feedback loop. And once you get momentum, you can't let it go for anything. The little engine who could. He was climbing up this like almost impossible hill as a train. He kept thinking, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And that led him to become like an amazing little train. That's not the whole story verbatim. I read this when I was like in first grade, but you get the point. He thought that he could, and so he did. There's a quote from Marcus Aurelius that says, "He who thinks he can and he who thinks he cannot are both right." So make the decision to think thoughts and have beliefs that empower you and serve you. And I want you to practice this every single moment, but make it a habit of telling yourself that you believe in yourself and your potential after you wake up and before you go to bed every single day, like Muhammad Ali or anybody else that is accomplished. I'm fast, I'm intelligent, I'm amazing, I'm loved, I'm kind, I'm responsible, I'm disciplined, I'm amazing, I'm loving. Tell yourself these empowering affirmations every single day. Remember, it might feel silly, and at some point everybody does, but giving yourself these affirmations is what is going to help you create the self and the life that you want. So say you can. Say you already are the person you want to be. Like you're casting a magic spell and you're creating the person you want to be. Say you are a jacked, lean, high testosterone man now and take action in alignment with your new identity. That's what I did every day when I was putting on all that muscle after I swam. I was saying that I already was a jacked dude, and I went and lifted as hard as I could, and I did lots of cardio. Boom. few years later, I'm jacked and lean and have high testosterone. The next pillar of the high testosterone mindset is effort. Train so hard that you puke. When I was coming up in swimming, I remember I was 16 and I watched the Michael Phelps Under Armour trailer for the Rio 2016 Olympics, which was his last Olympics. And there was this scene in the video where he got out of the pool and puked because he was training so hard. And that had a huge impact on me and made me want to push myself as hard as I could. Here's a quote from James Allen. In all human affairs, there are efforts, and their results are results. And the strength of the effort is the measure of the result. Chance is not. Gifts, powers, material, intellectual, and spiritual possessions are the fruits of effort. They are thoughts completed, objects accomplished, visions realized. James Allen. You get out what you put in. Having higher testosterone is directly correlated to putting in more effort. And the more that you give, the more that you will get. That is just a law of the universe. The more you put out, the more you're going to get back. So put out as much effort as you possibly can. Here's a frame from the Clarence Kennedy video where he did an AMRAP with 584 pounds. And on the 7th rep, it looked like he was done. But then he kept going. 7, 8, 9, 10. On the 10th one, he came up super slow, and then the bar flew off his back, and he collapsed onto the ground and basically rested for an hour before he went on to do cleans. This is a man who just did one of like the craziest squat AMRAPs probably of all time, because it was ATG at 200 pounds, so almost like 3 times body weight. And then he went on to do more. And you have to have that kind of mindset where you're just giving as much effort as you can. Have you ever done legs to the point that you couldn't walk, or done cardio so intense that you puke? I have. If you want to be a high testosterone man, that's the kind of effort you need to give everything in life. Practice pushing past your limits to where it's hard. That's where you'll be rewarded. Not by staying comfortable or staying in the same place you've always stayed, but by pushing even further beyond. Now, I haven't watched Dragon Ball, but I know so many people who are successful that draw inspiration from this character, because he was born with apparently like no talent, but through incredibly intense effort, through training over time, he became one of the most powerful people in the universe. And that's just the mindset that you need to have, that through effort and persistence and consistency, you can become incredibly powerful and strong. So I want you, this is your action steps, and this is very important. You need to reaffirm your new identity as being a high effort person. Practice high intensity effort as a new aspect of yourself, because there's no living life as a high effort person in the gym or your career and then being a low effort person outside of those endeavors. It's just a part of who you are. High effort. You need to practice this every single day and even every single moment. Start by doing weighted squats until you feel like you're going to puke, then resting with the bar on your back, and then keep going. Do pull-ups until you can't hold on the bar, stop for 10 seconds, get off the bar, and then jump back on the bar and keep going until you just can't. You need to make sure that your effort, that your body is not, and your mind are not telling you when enough is enough. You need to decide that, and you need to give as much as you possibly can. Competition is the next pillar of the high testosterone mindset. Winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is. This is the difference between winners and losers. Winners don't see themselves as winners because they win a competition. They see themselves as winners because they want to win, and they do everything in their power to win, and they give their best effort to win in a good spirit. That's what it really means to be a winner. You could be way more insignificant in terms of your accomplishments or competency, but if you have the right mindset, you can sit in a room full of guys that are far above you in terms of their ability, and they will respect you because of your mindset. It has nothing to do with the fact that winning the Olympics doesn't make you a winner. It means you won a competition, but that doesn't make you a winner. And so you need to have a competitive mindset and a winner mindset. The only people who take a piss on competition are the people who don't believe in themselves or aren't willing to put in the work to do the best they possibly can in order to win, or they don't believe they can win. and that's a choice you can make. Battle is the most magnificent competition in which a human being can indulge. It brings out the best, it removes all that is base. Competition between men is one of the best possible things on the planet because it forces us to get better. You have no choice when you're going head to head with another man in a game, in a race, or in a fight than to let go of everything that is holding you back. You have to improve. Competition is directly correlated with having higher testosterone. This is because if we are fighting to survive in an area of endeavor for survival and replication purposes, then we're actually at our best as men. And this comes down to having hormonal epigenetic, psychological, and physiological adaptations that include increasing our testosterone, but also make other adaptations to make us sharper and more capable. Have you ever, you might not have heard of the wild boar phenomenon, but wild boars and domesticated pigs are the exact same species, except the information that they're exposed to is entirely different. The wild boar, I got a bug on my leg and I was just flicking it off. I'm outside in this beautiful place. You can see the sunset. The wild boar has to compete to survive. It's always hunting, has no guaranteed security, no one's feeding it, and it has to be strong to survive. So the information it's getting from its environment tells its body to make more testosterone. It has to stay sharp in order to stay alive, in order to procreate. And so it acquires adaptations that allows it to do that. The domesticated pig is soft and weak and has lower testosterone and has less muscle and is way more docile. If you ever competed with other men in anything, you know how it's sharpened. How filling it is to go to war. We for centuries been built have been fighting to survive. Without battle or competition, it will always feel like something is missing from our lives, and we will never be at our best. If you have never thrown down with other men trying to win, whether in racing, fighting, playing a game, like football or basketball, where dudes get alpha, you need to start. Here's a positive feedback loop between competition that competition has on you. Sorry, it's getting pretty dark out. I might need to go inside. So competition leads to you having increased effort and motivation, which leads to you having increased skills and performance, which increases your achievement, which increases your confidence, which leads to you engaging competition, and then just creates a positive feedback loop. So, what that an example of that is like when I was swimming and I wanted to win a race, right? Maybe I wanted to get a better 100 fly, so I was working all my underwaters, right? Boom, 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 increased effort. I was trying harder in practice, and then I got better underwaters. And then I went faster in practice and beat the people I wanted to, right, in a competition. And then that motivated me to work even harder. So, because I have the goal of winning in competition. So, you need to have that intention. So, here's some action steps. If you play a sport, obviously you already have that outlet. But if you don't, and you're just a guy going to the gym, have a group of buddies you train with and be competitive with them. Ideally, it's someone who have a rival, have a buddy that like. And people like take a piss on rivals. In reality, having a rival or someone to push yourself against is like the best thing in the entire world. Having someone to compete with and go head to head with is really something that'll create one of the best friendships you'll ever have in your entire life. So if you're new to the gym, you don't want to be trying to compete with a 4-plate bench presser, a 5-plate bench presser who just like comes in the gym and gets all this attention. You want to pick someone who's starting out their journey too, or is about your level, so that you have like a reason to eat and train and take it a bit more seriously to gain an edge on your friend. If that is not enough, start doing some kind of sport, whether it's running or biking or swimming or maybe triathlons, or you could start grappling, wrestling, BJJ, judo. I haven't learned how to strike, but if you learn how to fight and then compete in open mat regularly, you will have a huge competitive outlet and you will have a reason to try and get better. Find someone else who's starting out there and work relentlessly to beat them. I just got this MacBook Pro, so I'm still learning how to use it. By the way, this is Caleb Dressel, just looking absolutely peeled out of his tree after a Olympic relay. Now, progress is the fifth pillar of the Test Maxer's mindset. This is a quote from me. Progress means you didn't waste your life. Progress gives your life meaning. It means that your days weren't wasted. That, you just didn't waste your days. If you go out and drink or party every weekend, for a year, nothing is going to have changed in your life after a year. You're still just going to be, you're not going to like get better at drinking. Maybe you need more alcohol in order to get drunk. So maybe you've got going to change in that way, but it's not really like you haven't progressed. You're still the same person. Whereas if you go to the gym for a year and you're consistent with your sleep and your diet and your training, you're going to be a whole different person. If you read a book every week for a year, you're going to be a whole different person. You build a business for a year, whole different person at the end of it, whole different set of circumstances. You moved way farther ahead in life and on your path than the you who chose to drink. So progress is very important. Remember, the smallest step in the right direction can lead you to the biggest change in your life. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just keep moving forward one step at a time. Progress, no matter how small, is still progress. And progress is how you actually make the days count. It means that your days were not wasted. The number one desire of man is to evolve through forward progress by way of effort, knowledge, consciousness, and achievement. The spirit can actually be seen all throughout humanity, as all of our knowledge and technology has been built upon the work of those who have come before us. This is also how you will do your best in all realms of endeavor, by focusing on your own progression from day one to the day to day, week to week, month to month, and year to year. So every day, you need to find some way you can be better than you were yesterday, last week. Over time, the gap between you who started and the you from 5 years of consistent work will be incredible. You actually won't recognize yourself. The saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the next best time is today. Here's a little seed sprouting in the beginning, and over years and years, it grows into a sapling, a young tree, a maturing tree, until suddenly it's this big tree that's bearing fruit. And for the rest of your life, you're getting fruit from this tree. But you had to plant it and water it and tend to it for years and years and years in order for it to get there. Same thing with becoming a high testosterone man or building an incredible. Now, there are some action items. I want you to start tracking. The way I did this was by going to the gym consistently, writing down all my workouts, and just adding 5 pounds to my sets every week, or adding reps to my sets every week, or making the reps better every week, or making them easier, right? Just finding ways to improve every single time I went in there and writing it down. So the action items I want you to do is start tracking everything. What you measure gets progressed, really. You give attention to, you give energy to. So start tracking everything: your body weight, your meals, your workouts, anything you learn, events that happen, things you learn from, the ways that you watch yourself grow. Write it all down. That's going to cement it in your consciousness and actually help you learn even better. So, and that's going to move you forward. So focus on making small improvements consciously every day, week, and month to get you closer to what you want, to the vision you have, to the person you want to become. Now, the next pillar, the sixth pillar, is focus. Focus is the modern superpower. That's a quote from Dan Coe, who wrote The Art of Focus. Shout out Dan Coe, or Your Life is Controlled by What You Focus On, Tony Robbins. Focus is really one of the most important tools you can use in your life, and you can argue that it's your only tool. It's just what you focus on. If you know anything about law of attraction, it states that your point of attraction, or your point of attention, is your point of attraction. So whatever you're focusing on, you're going to be attracting into your life. It means, law of attraction means that whatever you focus on in life, you bring into your life in a very real way, not just a mental way, but in a physical reality type of way. As to the things that you want and the things that you don't want. Whatever you put attention on, whether you're looking at it, if you think of it, if you take any action towards it, you will welcome it into your life. And even if you're not thinking about it like that, that's how the universe works. So stay focused on becoming who you want to become. Think thoughts and focus on the person you want to become, and take action on that person you want to become every single day. It's very important that you stay focused on your goals and you give as much attention to your goals as you possibly can. There's a saying, I got this from Joe Dispenza, where attention goes, energy flows. Attention is energy. And so whatever you give attention to, you are fueling. And if you don't do this, other random things will pop up into your life and distract you from your goals. You'll lose your momentum, which makes it easier to fall off. So stay focused on the life that you want, and don't let go of that focus unless you want change. Unless you're choosing a life other than the one that is a part of your vision. This is why it's very important that you choose a vision that excites you. so that it consumes your focus. And if you look at these two visuals right here, you have the leaky bucket, which is what it looks like when your focus is penetrated by distractions. Imagine a bucket that you're trying to fill with water so that you could, pour it into the things you want. That's your focus. And every little distraction, everything that does not align with what you want is a hole in the bucket draining water. The more distractions you have, the less fuel you have to fill the bucket or the well of your dreams, basically. And I've actually never seen The Matrix, but I understand the analogy of the woman in the red dress. There will always be some super enticing thing that comes along. In the movie, it was the woman in the red dress that caught this dude's attention, and I think it was like a lesson to show him like to not get distracted. Same exact thing happens in life. Don't get distracted from becoming the person that you want to be. Personal story. After I got my first girlfriend, I was still going to the gym, still hitting all my macros, but I wasn't as focused on my vision as I used to be. And I had to go through this process of being distracted by a woman to realize that I can't let anything penetrate my focus. I can't let anything intrude upon me becoming the person that I want to be. And anybody and anything that doesn't align with me becoming that person can't be in my life. And that's perfectly fine because your life is yours. And you have every right to decide who and what is a part of it. So here are some action steps. Treat every moment as a meditation where you focus on being the person you want to be. Anytime you find your mind slipping into judgment, beliefs, actions that don't align with that, change. Change your attention, change your thoughts, change your actions. Refocus on doing what is right and doing what you said you would do by living in alignment with the vision that you have set out on. Anchor your focus onto what you want by looking at your vision board multiple times per day, speaking it aloud, and making sure that everything you're doing, thinking, saying, and believing aligns with that. Now, the last and possibly the most important pillar is discipline. Now, this is heavily tied to focus. It's right up there in that same vein, but it's more along the lines of determination, willpower, and your ability to deny yourself for your vision. You ain't nothing without discipline. Mike Tyson. I love Mike. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. Abraham Lincoln. If you have the vision that excites you, the distractions won't even, the temptations aren't even temptations, which is why you need an amazing why. When I was a swimmer, you could not get me to eat unhealthy, or, I mean, even now, you can't get me to eat like garbage. But I'm saying I didn't say yes to any parties in high school because it would have hurt me being a swimmer, and that was the most important thing in the world to me. So why would I ever want to do it? Why would I ever want to do anything that could hurt that? But you will be tempted eventually. And if you look here, this is a picture of Chris Bumstead on the left, probably one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, 6-time Mr. Olympia. And you have the dude here on the right who had no vision, no reason to be disciplined. So he just ate whatever he wanted all the time. Right? You need the vision and to focus on to tell you what to do, but you're always going to have temptations that come along the way. And if your why is great enough, it won't be a problem for you to say no to temptation. But you cannot actually accomplish anything in life without discipline, which is really your ability to force yourself to stick to what you said you'd do. It's really to deny yourself what you want in a fleeting moment. For example, you might want to be lean and jacked and on a cut, and you might feel like having chocolate, might feel like going to McDonald's. Your friends might invite you to a rave or to go out until 2 a.m. But choosing to not deny yourself these things is your discipline. And remember that without discipline, you will always be a plastic bag thrown about by the wind of opportunity given by every single fleeting moment. Without your vision that you are disciplined in accomplishing, you cannot accomplish anything, be anyone, or even stand for anything. And none of that is what it means to be a high testosterone man. So relish in the fact that every time you deny yourself for the sake of your greater purpose, goal, or vision, you become stronger. And make sure you tell yourself that too. This green line here demonstrates what happens when you are disciplined. It is progress over time. By choosing delayed gratification, by choosing progress, you actually get better over time. You get more from your actions. But if you choose instant gratification, distractions, pleasures, you get you get a hit of dopamine in the moment, but over time, nothing really changes, and you're always in the same spot. Back when I started caring about my health, I loved candy and chocolate. But when I would catch myself reaching forth to grab chocolate or even start to put it in my mouth, I would spit it out or put it back or throw them out because I knew it wasn't helping me reach my goals. When my teammates went out to dinner and if I went, I would bring my own meal. When they choose to go drinking before swim meet, I chose not to. When they stayed out, I went to bed early. This is how your life needs to be 99% of the time. There will be occasional bouts of chaos that pull you out of your order or routine, but that's nothing to do with your own discipline when it comes to your ability to make decisions that move you towards your goals. If you have a graduation ceremony, there's a wedding that you want to go to, it doesn't mean that you have to skip your training for the day. If there's a wedding and there's cake and alcohol, it doesn't mean that you have to eat those things to be a part of the experience. You can have the experiences and the one-off things and also stay in line with your goals. So here are some action steps for you. I want you to actually practice discipline. And when you are tempted by pleasure or momentary thrills, remember that denying yourself and choosing your goals makes you stronger. It makes you better. Choose to go to bed instead of staying up watching Netflix. Choose to buy healthy food instead of eating junk food. Choose to go to the gym instead of staying in bed. All these things will make you powerful. They will make you stronger, and they will help you achieve the vision for yourself that you set out to have. I hope you enjoyed the video about having a higher testosterone mindset. Make sure that you write down your vision, your affirmations, and all the things you're going to do differently and implement them every single day so that you have the life that you want, the body that you want, and you become a high testosterone man. Now, if you like that content, subscribe. I'm going to be posting more here on YouTube. Have a good day.